everyone. This is Siddharth.
And Janani and Dabba.
Empty Dabba.
Empty
Because
Dabba.
all the food is here. We're settling down to have our South Indian thali lunch from Sampurna Ahara and and of course have some stories to share with you. So welcome back.
Hey, do you want to tell them about what happened this morning?
Oh yeah. So for the past few weeks with my son Achinthya, he tends to wake up somewhere in between me waking up and Janani waking up. So I take care of him initially, and we've really enjoyed, he wants to go outside. He's a baby who enjoys being outside. And he always enthusiastically points wherever he wants to go. Okay, very determinedly. So past few weeks, we wake up, he finishes all his bathroom needs of the morning. I put pants on him and we lift him up and we go out for a walk. And he points where he needs to go. And I've always made it, it's pretty early in the morning, there aren't that many people around. He's fine without a mask. At every intersection, I stop and I let him point where he wants to go. Today, he pointed his way entirely to his grandmother's house.
Who lives 2 roads away.
Yeah. So she lives 2 roads away, but it was so much fun. Like that, we went and visited his grandparents this morning, and I went without a phone, without wallet or anything, without even chappals or any footwear, because I do these morning walks barefoot.
I woke up very confused.
Yeah, because once he went to his grandparents' house, it's not like they were going to let him come back here. So she woke up to both of us missing, whereas she's normally used to waking up and then taking him over after I come back from a walk. He still really loves to wander, but he's also getting a sense of direction. I don't think he entirely knew the way there. We were generally wandering until he recognized the area right around there. Then he was like, go there.
I really wonder how much of the area around is considered considered nearby for him.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was wandering with another baby a couple of years ago. Allowed him to walk in front of me on the road. So I wasn't telling him where we are going, and my intention was to buy a few fruits from the shop nearby. He knew the way. I realized that he was going down paths that I couldn't fit on. Around a pot and under a branch. I wasn't able to fit in there. There's this little 2-foot baby fitting into spaces that I couldn't fit into. And so his world must be so different.
Yeah, but also, it's also about how kids grow up. I remember, that reminds me of so in 2012, when I was doing my master's thesis research and living for 4 months in Kibber, this small village in the Spiti Valley in Himachal Pradesh. I remember one day, everyone was out in the fields. That wasn't a fieldwork day for me, so I was in the village. I came across Tashilama. She's a friend's daughter. Tashilama was 1.5 then, or 2. She could walk, and I don't speak Spiti. And she doesn't speak Hindi, but we kind of figured out. She's she wants to go meet her mother. So I'm like, okay, here's a less than 2-year-old walking around alone. Let me keep her company until she finds an adult. Okay, and I was like, where's your mother? She's like, Pare. No, in Spiti, in Kibber, Pare or Par means on the other side, and it could mean anything from the house on the other side of the street to the other side of the village, to the village on the other side of the valley, to the other side of Spiti Valley. It's just contextual, the context in which pare is used. And people know. So like in her mind, pare. Right? We walked for easily like 20-25 minutes. Uh, we left the village, went down to the fields. She correctly identified the field where her mother was. And all along, she was taking this like bumbling down person, like person from Nietzsche, because they're up in the Himalayas, everyone else is from Nietzsche. Um, and I realized at the end of the day that like she was totally okay. I was along for the ride. And like, wow, this is like my city senses of children wandering is just completely off for this completely capable 2-year-old adult.
Speaking of wandering,
Mhm.
I want to wander into the food a bit.
Mm.
It's so yum. It smells really nice. There's this sautéed spinach and onion veggies. This is something called parpusli in Tamil. And for people who don't know it, it's so there's lentils that you cook and grind up with some masala along with a few veggies, and it's a fun dry preparation. This is a vegan curd rice. I
Made with peanut curd.
made with I think peanut or soy. I'm not sure. Should taste it. And this seems to be a sweet with like fancy almond slivers. And we've dressed up our meal today. We have snacks. Shri Baba, our colleague, has been experimenting with a lot of fun stuff. And so this is something called Kara Muruggu.
Which is oil free.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, Sidhu, I'm wondering. Remember we were talking about this a while ago. How we had to figure out wandering together. I was thinking about the Kuti and Spiti. I was just thinking about how. So I remember this time we were at NCBS with Sachita then, and we were planning to go collect mangoes from the mango growers.
The mango stall at
The mango
GKVK,
stall at
Bangalore.
GKVK. I saw a path going off the road. And it was very curious looking for me. It was a footpath and there were a lot of trees around and I wasn't sure what I would see. And NCBS and GKVK is a beautiful green space. You can actually come across a lot of treasures there. And so I didn't even say anything, I just meandered off the path. It was just a few months into knowing each other. And you were getting used to my way of wandering. And so you stopped on the road and you looked so torn. Like, Jana, but shouldn't we go to the mangoes and go home? Where are you going?
I think there's the other side of there's a bus schedule from NCPS, and if you miss a bus, like the next bus is 2 hours later.
But we're wandering.
But I wanted to go home. So this was a very interesting thing that I had to work out after I got to know her, because I love wandering for various aspects of work and life over the last 10-12 years. I've traveled a lot to different parts of India and the world, and usually alone. And when I'm in a different place and alone, I just really enjoy just taking off and roaming around on my own. But then, and we needed to figure out how to wander together. I feel like I wanted to not take decisions for her or impose decisions on her, but then I didn't want to say that I want to do this thing, and just once it took us some time it took me some time to figure out carefree wandering together. To me, it's not just but actually, let's first go. Did you have any difficulty with figuring out wandering together, or was it just me having to loosen up?
what you're saying just now reminds me of a conversation I've had with Aditi, my younger sister, who's a very, very kinesthetic person. There was this one day, we were quite a bit younger. I think I must have been 16, 17. She was 3 years younger than me. I had gone to do a workshop for some children and I needed help, so I asked her to tag along. And we had slightly, like, she was feeling hesitant to do it, and I had pushed her to come, and we had some conversations around that. On the way back, I was trying to patch things up with her. So I asked her, "Do you want to cook together? Maybe we can make something fun." And she was hesitant again, and she was really thoughtful about it and was having trouble with it. And so I turned to her and said, "See, I know you enjoy doing. I know you like cooking. I know we like cooking together. I'm proposing that we do stuff together. Why are you so thoughtful about it?" And she said, "You're not doing stuff with me. You're asking me to think and talk about doing stuff with you." Instead, if we go home and you got into the kitchen and you put some knife and a vegetable in my hand and you started chopping, I'd do it with you, no?
Yeah, I think wandering was just something that I was used to doing and not thinking and talking about it. But then my mind was saying, no, we should think and talk about it with this person. Clear communication is important, completely ignoring all sort of non-verbal communication.
Yeah, I think that's the difference. You don't talk to yourself, right, when you're wandering. So you don't put words to the experience, and then having to explain why you would want to take that path that's below the trees rather than go on the main road and discuss about it when one person is on the path and one person is on the main road. I think that is...
But there's this whole other side to it, because I remember when you came and visited me in St. Paul, when I'm regularly walking to and from a place, I tend to build up a pretty good map of the area. For various things in that neighborhood, in that area that I've been living for 3 years, I knew exactly where I wanted to go and what path I wanted to take, with often not very grid-like spaces. And I've always tended to plan and optimize, figure out what is the shortest route. Not that I always need to, but it's just a nice thing to know. And I like doing it and figuring out which one's better. And then I remember there was this tension about having to explain everything to you. And you're also not really wanting to know the whole details about why I took that route or why I was in. But then I was so used to taking a particular route to a place. And then Janani would come along and say, "Let's go this way." I'm like, no, I'm trying to go there. But actually, no, yeah. Switching the planning, my planning and optimizing routes head off was fun.
Yeah. You know, the thing that's interesting for me is that I wander purposefully. I also have a planning and optimizing head. And I do that very often, and I enjoy doing that. And I think both of us enjoy doing that together. Somewhere I realized that for my mental health and for my relationship to the space around me, and for being able to discover new friends, I needed to wander.
Right.
So I optimized in my head that when I go from place A to place B, I should wander.
Yeah. And I think that that's the interesting thing about this overall story, right? That both you and I are very similar in doing that. But it wasn't immediately easy when we came together. We were so used to doing these things alone, and then factoring it with another person was interesting learning to figure out our rhythms of wandering together.
Yeah. And I feel like we've done that with Achinthya also. Like the way you wander with him in the morning. We do that within playtime together, right?
Mhm.
When he's playful,
Yeah.
we let him do the wandering between toys and opportunities for play.
Huh. So, yeah, that feels like a pretty complete story, no? We'd love to hear your stories of wandering, and I hope you get a chance to wander today.
I'm curious what is. I realize I haven't asked you this before, but we'll maybe do it at some other time. But I'm curious what is the biggest wander that you've gone on alone? We shall be back with that.
That will be a different video. See you.